Hello, everyone, and welcome
Oh.
to our new podcast. This is the Wake Up
Yes.
Podcast with me, Aisha,
And me, Lucy.
and it's basically just a place for us to come and chat about all the things we're going through in life and all the things we care about. So, like adulthood, growing up, going to uni, music, culture, food, all them things there. So, yeah, we've got a lot of opinions to share, and we hope that you will enjoy and listen along.
So today we're going to talk about something that we've experienced very recently.
We are just fresh out of university, our final year in COVID-19. So it's been a journey for both of us. But yes, we made it.
Congratulations.
We did it.
We did it.
So
We made it out.
what were your expectations first going into uni? Like, what did you think it was all going to be?
I think obviously when you think of uni, I think of like going out and drinking and stuff, and I thought it was like, it was something that I was going to partake in loads, and I was very nervous. I'm quite a nervous person meeting new people, so going into it, I was quite nervous about who you're going to meet, because in the theatre industry, you're either going to meet like the nicest people or people that are quite intimidating. So yeah, I was a bit nervous going in, but I don't really know what I thought in terms of the course. I think I was more thinking about the experience as a whole, like, I'd be going out all the time and this and that. So that's how I thought it was going to be. I don't know how you thought it was going to be.
No, I had like similar thoughts, because you see all the stereotypes like on TV and online about people going on nights out and drinking and like wild stories. And like, I'm not typically the person that does that as well, so that made me quite anxious. I never really thought about like the course itself, so I was quite nervous going into uni, but luckily it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
In terms of like first year, we had different experiences in terms of living conditions. You kind of had it in second year, which I had in first year, as I like lived with 4 other people. So it was 5 of us in a flat, and then you had a house in the second year. And yeah, that was really interesting. And that probably, to me, was one of my favourite parts of uni, really, as the experience. Because although we would like have arguments and annoy each other like to the absolute max, like we became like a little family, and like we would just do the dumbest stuff together, and like there's like memories there that you can't take back. And obviously after we had stopped living with each other, not by choice, but we just haven't been able to see each other as much and catch up, and it's really weird, because like you become like a family, like you're so used to everyone's dynamics. So yeah, that was a good part of at the beginning of uni for me, so that was nice to go into at the start of uni.
Yeah, it's so weird, because like in first year, you're just thrown into like living with people straight away. So like you're almost not forced, but you're bound to make these like family like connections, because it's the first time anyone's ever moved away. And I remember seeing like your Snapchats and Aiden's Snapchats of like you guys just doing like weird stuff of like the ham leg and all that.
Yeah. We dressed a ham leg up, and we did
She
like some
looked
videos of
cute.
the ham
She
leg.
looked
She
cute.
was cute. She had a heel on and everything.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, so yeah, we just did crazy stuff, and it was like there was never a dull moment, and they were just really nice people. So I was really lucky, because I know not everyone has that experience like I had.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little bit different, because in first year, I stayed at home because I'm from Coventry. So I commuted in. And I think that's another thing that worried me again, because I was like, oh, I don't have friends in accommodation, so I wasn't going to make any friends. But literally, on the first day, I did make friends. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. And commuting was difficult, because obviously taking the bus and all that, it was
And
long.
that the bus don't turn up on time.
I'm telling you, the 13 bus in Coventry, 8:30 bus does not exist. It says it's going to come at 8:30, it never comes at 8:30. But God, yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't thin, but I guess it kind of helped me money-wise, because I didn't have to pay rent in the first year. So I could go crazy. The amount of times we ate out in first year.
I mean, we still be doing that. I mean, obviously not in the current condition, but we did that the entire of uni, didn't we? Like,
Yeah, we
crazy.
ate.
We'd be eating everywhere.
It's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
no. First year was an experience, I think. It's very
And then
different
in
to
the
everyone.
first year, we met each other as well.
We
So
did.
we met through a mutual friend who lived with me in first year and lived with you in second year.
Yes.
Um, and you were on the same course as Aislinn. Um, yeah, we our friendship. I can't really remember how it really started, really. But
Yeah.
I've got a terrible memory. I know, like you'd come to the flat now and then, but I don't really know how it got to the point where it is now.
Yeah. Because obviously we first met when we worked on a project together. Because me and
Yes, yes, of
Aislinn,
course. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, we were
First year I
working
was
on
in one of
a
your films.
yeah, we were making a short film trailer, and then we were like, crap, we need a actress. And then Aislenn's like, well, I live with one blah, 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 and she brought you along. We worked together. I think we
Yeah.
added each other on Snapchat. I think okay. I think I know how we become. I think it was BTS. I
Well, didn't you
saw.
go to? Did you go to K-pop Society something? And I was
Yeah,
like replying about it. Was that it,
yeah.
or
I
what?
put it on my story, but I think also you put a picture of Jimin on your story, and I was like, Lucy, are you a stan? And you were like, yeah. And then here we are. The rest is history.
Less is history. All thanks to BTS.
Honestly, do you think we'd be like as close as we are if it wasn't for BTS?
I don't know. I feel like certain things are like meant to happen. So maybe even if that didn't happen, then it would have happened. But I don't know. I remember at first, like when we were first becoming friends, I was like really nervous and like I didn't really know how to approach it because we like had this thing we both liked, but like
Yeah,
we didn't know each other very well and stuff. So I don't know how we got to the point where we are now, but here we are. So
honestly,
yeah.
yeah. That's like the thing
So,
about uni though, like making friends. It's completely different to like making friends at school because obviously you were so young at school, you weren't really thinking
mm,
about it. You were just kids playing around. But when you go to
yeah,
uni, you start off not knowing anyone, and there's just so many new people. So it's a bit like
yeah.
nerve-wracking making new friends and like
Mm,
wondering how to approach people. But it honestly, it just happens. Like some people like you, some
mm.
people won't. It's just the way it is. But
And the thing at uni is majority of people have matured in terms of like if they don't like you, it's not like at school where it's like the most major issue and it's like you're going to get bullied or whatever. At uni, it's like if they don't like you, they just probably won't talk to you and be in a
mhm,
project with you. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
at uni, it's a bit more. I feel like at first you feel like it's going to be like school, but you get to uni and it's like no one cares.
hmm,
You know, if they like you, then you're going to be friends and you're going to communicate. And that if they don't like you, then you probably don't want to be friends anyway. So
exactly, yeah.
yeah, it's much more relaxed than it was at
Mhm.
school. That's for sure.
Everyone just kind of minds their own business, which is nice, and you can really focus on what you want to do on your course as well. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what course did you do? That's a good
Okay, so
lead
I've
on.
sort of mentioned it, but not really spoke about it. So I did theatre at Coventry um, University, and it was very interesting. We did loads of different stuff. On my course, it was very practical. So, because I don't really like writing. So, um, yeah, there was a lot of times where we were in plays and we made our own plays and da da da. So, yeah, that's what I did. And our courses linked very well because we worked a lot together.
Hmm.
So,
So
yeah.
I did media production, which was really good. I really enjoyed the course because when I was looking for courses, actually, a lot of media courses were very theoretical, where you had to do a lot of writing and theory. So
Mm.
luckily, I found this one where it's very hands-on. We did a lot of filming, and not just like typical films, but like websites and social media stuff, and like some new technology, like 360 stuff. So it was very like, what's the word?
Diverse.
Diverse, exactly, yeah. So I really enjoyed that. And like you said, our courses interlinked very well because you guys always needed someone to take photos and film. We always needed actors, so it's like,
I mean, I honestly think I wouldn't have got some of my grades if it wasn't for the help of you on so many modules because I did a lot of like technological stuff in my pieces that I did. And I had a computer which could not stand editing, and I didn't have the software either. So having the media students there and then being friends with a media student was very beneficial for me and my overall graduate grade. So yeah, I owe you. But I always fed you good, didn't I?
You did. Those long nights editing, she always said to me, cook
I
me good
always fed you
dinner.
good, at least.
So that's the
But
beauty
yeah.
of it, I think, being able to collaborate. Because I think not everyone had that, like being friends with
Mm,
people in other courses. But luckily for us, because we knew each other and then we knew each other's friends, so we could collaborate more.
mm,
And if you know people from like different courses and that have different expertise, you can make like better work, I think. So we were really lucky in
yeah,
that aspect.
yeah. It was nice. I even thought like we didn't get to do it as much as I would have wanted to have done it. Like in certain years and certain semesters with it gets super crazy busy. And like when we did the directed module, I was in from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. some days.
Mm,
So I didn't get to collaborate as much as I would have wanted to, but it was still nice that I got to do it, and I'm glad I got to do it as well.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
good. So, like, within your course and even within uni in general, like, what kind of aspects did you explore? Did you like cover everything you thought you would when you came into the course, or did you like learn anything new or experience anything new?
Um, yeah, I think a lot of it I thought I'd be acting, and that would be like the be all and end all of like what I wanted to do. Then kind of realized that you could direct and you could do backstage, you could do costume, and we learned how to. I mean, I think it's an essential thing anyway, but we got a lot of time to work with lighting and rigging the lights and stuff. So, you could always give a hand. They were always asking, can anyone help rig the lights for the show? And if that's what you were interested in, you had another opportunity to practice and get that under your belt. Um, for me, I really enjoyed I hated it at first. Let me just say, I hated it at first. The experimental module, I hated it with
Mm,
a burning passion. At that point in university in second year, I really didn't feel like I was not fitting in, but I didn't feel like I had a place on the course and with the people. I had a very weird period, and I wanted to drop out and everything, and it was just getting a bit too much. And then we had this module, and it was like, you can do what you want. And I was like, what do you mean you can do what you want? Just give me some like structure, please.
I need a brief, I need
Um,
summit.
I know, but it was nice in the end. What I created, I worked with a lot of projections and music, and I created a piece about Black Lives Matter and how the white ignorance to the black struggle through music. So the whole idea was white people, we love to take black culture for our own, listen to it, but we don't listen to the meaning of the messages that they're trying to get out.
Mm,
And I did it through projections and everything, and it was just, to this day, I think it's one of my proudest pieces, even though it was only like 8 minutes long, whatever it was. But yeah, just seeing that like theatre is not just one person on stage reciting Hamlet, like, or you know what I mean, like it's not just Shakespeare.
mm-hmm.
Um, which I kind, you kind of know anyway, but knowing that there's like projection work and there's
Yeah.
so much you can do with lights and this and that, it was really interesting. So I learned a lot. Um, But I think you don't realise till you come away how much you've learned, because in the moment you're just so stressed about the next module.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Like, you've got 50,000 deadlines hanging around you. You're like,
I know
geez.
you always had so many deadlines. It'd be like 2 weeks till the hand in. You're like, yeah, it's all right. I'll sort it. I'll sort it somehow.
You're having a
I'm
mental
like, you need
breakdown
to
the day
do this
before.
now.
I know. It's awful. But yeah, I think definitely, especially with theatre, something I didn't realise until like I came friends with you and you told me all about it. Like just how much work it takes, like behind the scenes and preparation and stuff. Yeah. And it's interesting as well, like how that was a difficult time in your uni journey, but then you made one of your proudest pieces. I think that just shows like
Mm,
if you're struggling, the hard work you put in is gonna pay off.
yeah.
Yeah. Uni's a lot different to like school and stuff. So for me with media, I think I started doing media GCSE, but it's like GCSE and A level is nothing like what I did at uni. So uni was very hands on doing stuff. So it was all very overwhelming to me at first. So I was just kind of like letting everyone do their own thing, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll do whatever. But then I think second and third years when I really got into my own and like started coming up with my own ideas, like
Yeah.
directing stuff, and like, yeah, getting creative with it. Yeah,
Mm.
because it really gives you like that creative control that you never had
Mm.
before.
Yeah,
So
you definitely don't get that at college or at GCSE, do you? It's you do what you're told, and that's the be all and end all.
literally, it's like you do this and that's it. But when you come to uni, it's like, okay, direct this, okay, create this. And you're like,
Mm.
well, okay. But no, I think my course as well was really good because they gave us lots of opportunities to like do our own ideas and stuff. And we had the media loan shop, so like all the equipment we
Oh,
could
I
use.
miss her. I miss her
I
so much.
know,
I
literally.
miss her. Come back.
COVID stole her from me, and I'm not very happy
I
about
know.
it.
I know. I know.
Anyway, but yeah, like it was. It had its highs and lows, my course. Like, we got to be creative and stuff. I think the one thing that was challenging for me was group work. Like, you meet loads of great, amazing people, but like ideas can clash and like people can clash and people want to be director and everything.
Welcome to my world.
You get me, G. But yeah, I think communication is very important. You learn how to work with people, you learn how to collaborate and deal with people. And that's the only way you can really like succeed in the creative industry. To be honest, you can't really like do it by yourself. So you've got to know how to work with people. And I definitely learned how to do that on this course.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel you on that one, 100%.
So you mentioned your experimental piece about Black Lives Matter. Do you have any other favorite projects, or what about that project specifically was like you love doing?
Um, oh, I just thought of the thing I hated the most, but
You can say that as well.
I think there's loads of favorite memories. I really enjoyed doing directed performance.
Mm.
I got to be one of the main characters, and I worked with. There was one character, but we split them into three different actors. And we did void check, and that was an amazing experience. It was really weird because we'd done this whole year as a group together in first year, and then as soon as we start second year, we're split up and we're put into two. Our class is divided into two to do two different plays, and we worked really closely, and we got really close as a group, and that was really nice. And oh, Joff, he's just mental. I love him. He I would love to just spend a day in his brain and see what happens, because he's just he's literally like the mad scientist when it comes to theatre.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really nice. We had a really nice group, and it was just loads of fun. Just I hadn't really taken a big role like that before. I'd never really pushed myself, and I did, and I was really proud of what we achieved as the three void checks, because we worked really close together, and they did an amazing job. But I think that's one of my favourite ones, other than the experimental module. I would say my final project, but we'll probably get to that in a little bit about how those kind of final projects went at uni. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those were my favourite experiences. I don't know what yours were, because obviously we do two different things.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think every project had something that I liked about it because I learned something in every project. But if I had to pick a favorite, huh?
Hmm.
It's a tricky
Hmm.
one. I would say short film in second year. We had to make like a 10-minute-ish
Was that
short.
the purple thing?
Yeah, a purple tree. Yeah, that was really fun because what was my role in that? I did marketing, so I got to document the behind the scenes stuff and social media, and I got to just really have fun with it, especially because it's not like every role is important in the film, but it wasn't like a major role like a director or a producer. So I just got to like have fun with it and enjoy working with people. And the group I worked with as well were a group of exchange students from Malaysia. So it's good to get to know them, see how they work, and made some
Mm.
friends. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I think I was, even though I was just like marketing, I was heavily involved in the process. So I
Yeah.
was like kind of assistant producer. So we helped find crew and we looked after everyone on set. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was really good. But yeah, I also did stuff like outside of the course as well, like in societies. We like take
Mm.
photos at like society events. We worked at a national K-pop competition. We took pictures. That was really fun.
Hi, that's me.
But yeah, no,
That was an interesting day, that was.
very interesting. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, I think I enjoyed every experience. There was a lot of different ones, so it's hard to pick just one. But yeah.
Mm. It was a lot of fun. I mean, just on my course, those were my favorite experiences. But as a uni experience, like the life I lived at uni, there's loads of things that were like my favorite things as well. Like we went and did so many things, and I'm sure we'll bring this up in a different one, but you know, we went all the way to London and back
Yeah.
to see BTS that first time, and that was a hella stressful day.
Hmm.
Um, and you know, living with people in first year, we did loads of stuff together, and we used to go out and eat together, and like,
Mm,
there's loads of favorite memories from those experiences as well. But
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, like social, like your social life at uni is just crazy because obviously you're meeting all these new people, you're starting a new
mm,
course, so you're gonna make friends
yeah,
and work with new people and everything. So yeah, your social life just goes up. So we had so many fun memories where we'd go out and eat. Obviously, we saw BTS in second year. That was so much fun. Yeah, but yeah, I just miss like going to people's houses after uni and just eating food and just chilling and just talking like
mm.
rubbish. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was so
that's the
fun.
thing I miss as well. Yeah.
Mm. What
Ah,
would you
dear.
say? What would you say is your best memory from uni? If you had to pick one.
Overall, like one best.
Hmm.
What, in terms of social life or in terms of, or like everything?
Just like everything, your entire uni experience.
Um,
I don't know how I'm gonna answer this.
why have you asked me this? I have no idea. No idea.
I like to put you on the
Um,
spot.
I think, um, I think something that stands out. I'm not saying, uh, I think one of my favourites in terms of like projects socially that was not linked to my course was probably Lucid Lou, that we worked on with back. I
Hmm.
mean, it was so stressful, but it was really interesting. I think it wasn't even the filming that I enjoyed. Enjoyed the stuff that we did behind the scenes. So we did a project with Beck, who we're very close with, who was one of the media lecturers at Cov Uni, and we worked on a 360 film about this girl who can't see colour, and then she meets a astronaut who takes her to space, and she finds colour and light. And yeah, so that was really interesting, and we had to make a 360 dome. Um, where we made
I'm sorry, that don't just brings me so much stress. Like I'm having war flashbacks right now.
so
Sorry.
we had to make like a green screen but 360 on this dome, and we cut so many triangles, and we're working out how much elastic how much what's the sticky stuff called,
Velcro.
velcro we needed. And oh, I think it was just funny, like we just, yeah, we spent
Hmm.
hours on that project. I'm still yet to see the finished product.
Yeah, I think
um
she's still working on it because I think it was ready, but then she got people to do music for it, so she's doing a whole new
yeah, so
soundtrack.
she's like going over it again. But yeah, so I think that's one of my favorites as well. I mean, on our course, we went and traveled across the world as well. So I've been to Sweden, and I've been to, in Stockholm, and I went to Paris in France, and I was meant to go to Finland, but then COVID. But never mind. But yeah, so I think my favorite project or like thing outside of like my course itself would have been that, I think.
Yeah, I think I might have to agree with you there because I almost forgot we did it then for a second, but I think
Life has just gone so crazy the last like year. Like, what's happened?
honestly, who knows? Who knows? But lucidly, and it was around this time last year we were shooting lucidly as
Yeah,
well,
we
wasn't
finished
it?
around this time last year, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think that's the best thing in uni, because when you meet people like Beck, she's so inspiration. She's so like in her own world as well. She's so creative, like down the rabbit hole, as she would say. Like
Mm,
she just inspires you to be even more creative and just go
mm.
crazy with it and not like
Hold back.
hold back, yeah, and get held back by like limitations and stuff. So yeah, we just had a crazy time with that. Like
Yeah.
no one's ever thought about building a green screen 360 dome before, and
Just
even
don't do
though
it. If you're thinking about it, just don't do it, is what I'd say.
yeah, don't do it. But yeah, when I look back, even though we were stressing at the time, it was so much fun, and it was just like a whole new experience to do stuff that's never been done before, and just
Mm.
collaborate to like a whole new level with people, and like really like work together, and yeah, it was
I
amazing.
think what I'd have to say about Beck is I don't know how I'd have finished my course without her. Um, and I think she's an absolute gem in that building because, there was times I struggled on my course and felt I wasn't getting the support I needed,
Hmm.
and she was there to fill in the support. So, there was one essay that I didn't get, and you know what? She sat down with me and she went, "Let's work this out." So, there's so many times that she's gone above and beyond. I'm not even on her course. Like, I shouldn't even have to be a worry of hers, but she still went out of her way
Yeah,
to help me. So I'm very appreciative, and hopefully we get to do another project with her
yeah, yeah.
at some point.
Hopefully that'll be amazing. I think yeah, at uni, there's always going to be people there to support you, even if it's not the people that should be, or if you're going through a hard time. There's
Mm,
going to be someone there that's going to have your back. So yeah,
yeah.
Beck was great for that. But what would you say is your worst uni memory?
Um, it depends. Okay, it's like depends how you would say is worst. Like what the definition would be. I think the one course I hated completely and utterly on one of the modules I completely hated was empty space. It was in first year, and basically they made us like be a ball wall. Like you could use no set. So to tell a story that you were given, and you couldn't have any set. So if there needed to be a chair, you had to get down on all fours and someone had to sit on you.
Jesus.
And it was just very traumatic. If you mention empty space to anyone in my year and probably other years, it's like you don't mention it. It's like Macbeth. You don't say Macbeth in a theatre because it's bad luck. Like you just don't say empty space
Was
in a theatre.
it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, apparently so. I think it's Macbeth.
Oh yeah.
Macbeth's meant to be bad luck, like go because it's about ghosts and stuff.
Oh shoot.
So
Okay.
it's like the same. Like you can't say empty space in a theatre because every student will be like the heart be racing, like memories start coming back, and they're like, no, 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 no,
No, no, no, no, no.
no, 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 no. Um, so empty space. I mean, like you learn a lot, but like, oh god, it was just so tedious. Like, how are you going to tell this story? Like, this is you're fresh in uni. It's one of the first modules you do, so you're like, you get put with this group, and you don't know them, and then you got to sit on them and pretend they're a chair, and it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So that was my least favorite module in terms of what worst sounds quite bad, but like that's the module I dislike the most.
Hmm.
Like worst memory, like it's really hard. Like I don't know what I would.
It's a hard one because your worst memory, you try and block it out and forget it forever.
I know, like I've obviously not remembered it for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's been like low points, definitely, like
Oh, I know what
stress.
mine is.
Oh, yeah.
My accommodation. It's got to be, hasn't it?
But wait, okay, I'll let you go on about code because I don't even live there and I'm pissed.
So I lived in this accommodation near uni, Code, and they've got like a really good reputation, I think, in Leicester because that's where they started. But they it didn't say on their website that they'd be still building when I was living there. And then I had to go for physiotherapy, and it happened to be in Coventry, so I travelled to get my physiotherapy. One day I was like, let me go walk past Code where I'm going to live. it was a building site and it was like a month away from when I was meant to live there. I was like, as you can imagine, that was something that continued on for a very long time.
Hmm.
I
Is it
mean, the
even
people
finished
who,
now?
I don't think so.
No.
Um, Look, the people who work there, it ain't their fault.
Mhm,
You know, they're nice people and they had to deal with me moaning a lot and my mother. So, you know, they've been through it, just like I've been through it.
mhm,
But like the way that things are worded and the boss, I won't say anything because you know my opinions are my own and I don't want to get in trouble.
mhm,
But the I've heard many things about the person who runs the business, and they've not been positive at all. Um, I just felt like you know it was all very sneaky. I never got my deposit back in the end because apparently the deposit you put in first year actually went towards your rent when actually your deposit's meant to be a separate piece of money that they put toward whatever. All very stressful. I had to
mhm.
get woken up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Like, what's going on? I'm trying to have a sleep here. You know, when you're hungover and you get like at 7 in the morning, you're like, and the rooms, how hot was my room? Go on, go off. How hot was my room?
Listen, it could be freezing outside, but when you go inside, you'd be sweating within seconds. I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
And like, we like to have a boogie. We like to go off in my flat.
mhm,
So it was difficult. We've been going through it. But that's probably my worst experience in terms of like, it was just constant. There was always something happening, always something going on.
yeah,
So I think that's probably my worst experience. I mean, the people who work downstairs in the office, you know, I don't have an issue with them. It's not their fault.
no, they were
I'm
not.
annoyed at the person who has the money to finish building that place and hasn't. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm. My worst memory. I think for my worst. Hold on, my sisters are shouting. I'm gonna shut the door. I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Okay.
Would your worst experience be living at home with your sisters? No, I'm
Yes.
joking.
No, I'm joking. It's actually not that bad. Living at home. It was annoying though, like having to commute every time you go to uni. I'd
Mm.
say because like
And then, like, also, you know, if you've got a break between things, or like you've got uni ends at 2 one day, and then you've got to go to a society that's at like 8 or whatever, or 6, you've got
mhm.
all that time that you've got to work out. Am I going to go home, come back, or
Literally, like that was my favorite thing. I'd literally be sitting in the library just doing nothing until like 6, just like literally waiting there. Like the amount of time I spent in that library, I think I got my
not
money's
doing
worth.
work?
Should have been doing work, but not really doing work. But yeah, commuting is annoying, but I wouldn't say that's my worst memory. I think the worst assignment I had to do was experimental. It wasn't like I enjoyed it. I made something that I was happy with in the end, but it's just like you know the idea, or you said before, do whatever you want. It's
Yeah,
experimental.
there's
Yeah,
no like you to do this, you must do da 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 in order to achieve this grade. Like you don't know how to achieve your grade because they just tell you to do whatever.
yeah,
But I think that's the point. If you do whatever, you're bound to get a decent grade because that's all they want you to do.
yeah. I
It's not like
mean,
you've got to do so well at it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, you don't have to be like amazing, but you don't realize that when you're set the assignment.
Yes,
You
yeah,
spend the
yeah,
first 2 weeks just stressing, like no ideas are coming because
yeah.
you can do anything. So it's like your brain's just like, well, I don't know what to do. If you had like a prompt or a brief, then it's a bit easier, but because you can
Mm.
just do anything, it's like I don't even know. I can't remember what I did in the end, but I got a decent grade, so yeah, whatever.
And you
Um,
definitely got that memory out, haven't you?
I don't even know who
You're like,
she
I
is.
remember that.
Um, but worst memory, yeah, that's a difficult one. I think what's the worst thing that happened to you at uni? Hmm. Um.
Anything socially that happened that was really bad, or I don't mean like you stopped being friends with anyone. I just mean like was
Had
there
a fight.
anything?
No. Um, oh my God. Okay, this is not really, really bad, but when I broke my laptop, like just before
Oh,
deadlines in second year, I broke my laptop
yeah,
twice, but in second year it was the worst because it was just before deadlines. So I was staying
yeah,
in the
I
library
remember.
until like 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's a bad memory. That is a bad
Hmm.
memory.
Because it was like 2 weeks where I went without my laptop, and it was literally right before deadlines. And like, it was lucky for me because in second year I lived out, so I lived quite close to the library, so I could
Yeah, you
stay there
did.
till
Yeah,
late. But yeah, it just wasn't ideal because my sleeping pattern was messed up. I mean, your sleeping pattern's going to be messed up at uni anyway. But yeah, that wasn't fun. I wasn't sleeping well. I just wasn't taking care of myself. So yeah, do not
that was not
recommend.
fun. Fresh. Would not recommend.
Would not recommend. 0 out of 10 experience. Do not do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was the worst memory. So what was it like finishing your degree in lockdown?
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow! Oh my God!
Wow.
Wow!
So I'll tell you where I was just before lockdown. So
Yeah.
I was doing my final project, which I was directing, and I co-wrote with Kaylee, who was in my theatre company. Not mine, it's ours, but just for the sake of explaining, our theatre company was called Vita Reale. We were writing a story based on true events about uh, Britain in 1980s under Thatcher's rule. And it was about a family who was, struggling on a council estate, and that was basically the story, summed up really fast. And I had a couple of actors in our company, and a couple of actors who were external who come in to work with us, and it was a struggle. And it was the first time I'd really directed a project properly. Like I did a little bit with live briefs, but it just felt a bit different, the experience. Um, and I was uh, directing with Kaylee. She was co-directing, and I really struggled, and we had issues with the script and stuff. And I'm someone who tries not to take things personally, but I do take things personally. So I was kind of at a point of ultimate stress already,
Hmm.
where we're so many weeks away from show, and we've just been told we need to rewrite about 4 scenes. And I'm thinking, it's obviously possible because you go in shows, and I've been in shows where you rewrite things like a week before the show. And it is what it is. But I'm just so worried. I want this show to be good, not just for me, but for my whole cast, because I want them to be proud of what they're in. Um, so we get to this stage, and I was doing another project with Finland, and we were doing Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, and we were meant to go to Finland, and the flights got cancelled. And the world's starting to change at this point, and obviously everyone knows what's going on. And I knew things are going to start getting cancelled and stuff because there was no way. Certain countries had already been hit really bad, so there was no way they're going to let us do certain things. Everyone on my course is trying to stay really optimistic, and I was like, no, 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 we'll be all right, we'll be all right. And there's me, Miss Pessimistic, anyway, like, uh, so anyway, we get 4 weeks before the show, and we get told you can't come in anymore. This will be your last 2 days in, and after this week, you cannot go into uni to um, perform or anything. You're going to have to separate because the uni will not be open for students.
Mm.
And a week before that, there had been discussions because it was like Boris was going to make an announcement at some point, and it seemed
Yeah.
like our country was going into lockdown. And we were told that we'd be able to do the show, but just to family and friends, or whatever it was. Like it would be less people, but then again, that got cut as well. So it was kind of I pessimistically knew that wasn't going to happen, but everyone else was heartbroken when they got told that the family could come, and then the family, it was over. So it's over. We've still got 4 weeks left. As a theatre student, it's not like, for example, I'm a law student and all I had to do. I don't know what law students do, but for example, maybe a law student, all they had to do was I don't know,
Exam or
do an exam or whatever it was, right?
yeah.
No, that ain't what I have to do. I have to be in the room with people to make theatre.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got telepresence and stuff you can do over calls and whatever, but the whole point of the project was you put the show on yourself, you market it yourself, and that's what you get marked on. You're putting it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's gone home. And so what we've had to do is continue our show through Zoom. We rewrote script parts, and we did line readings, and we had a Zoom call about what we'd want to do moving forward if we could. And we basically had to write from the perspective, if this show continued, what would I do?
Yeah.
And that's incredibly hard. And my motivation, I'd already been really stressed out before. And it wasn't like I was glad to be in lockdown, but I had no motivation. Like, there was no point for me anymore.
Mhm.
So I kind of felt like I gave up. Like,
Yeah.
we're not putting on this show. So I just felt like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I found it incredibly difficult. And I was like, I'm going to read over, because we document and we write about our process. And I was like, I'm going to reread them all. I'm going to add stuff. When it got to the handing date, I just hand it in. I was like, it is what it is. I had
Mhm.
no energy for it. So yeah, that was not a great experience for me. I don't know what we're going to do in terms of the show. The uni wants to potentially bring us all back to do it, but I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that was my experience. A bit depressing.
It's a sticky one, yeah, because obviously no
Yeah.
one's ever experienced something like this before, a pandemic to this scale. So no one really knows what
No
to
one knew
do.
what to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for you as well, like your show was the big thing that everything was leading up to. So when that gets taken
Yeah.
away, it's kind of like everything goes out
Yeah.
the
I felt
window.
like I didn't have an end to uni. Like, that was meant to be the end,
Hmm.
but it just didn't happen. So it just felt like, and then also, like, the whole point is, what I was going to do is invite theatre people to come. So people
Yeah.
I've collaborated with, Steph Ridings and Theatre Absolute, I was going to give them free tickets and stuff, not just on my behalf, but on my cast behalf as well, because I want to get them out there. I want people to see them,
Hmm.
see their talent, and that was my point. Hopefully by inviting people in, you collaborate with them later. But that's not how it worked out, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
sticky.
what was your experience like?
For me, in terms of work, for media students, I think we're lucky because, well, for me personally, I just finished filming a couple of weeks before lockdown happened. So I just started the editing phase. So I didn't really need to be around people, but it still would have helped to get like feedback from lecturers and stuff and like work with
Yeah.
people. There's a few bits that weren't perfect. So if I could have refilmed them and like finished bits off, then I would have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, lockdown happened, so I just finished filming. The last scene was the day with you, when you and Zoe and everyone came along, and
Oh, that
like,
biryani, I will never forget.
yeah,
Your
on set.
biryani, man.
I cater for my cast and crew. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I come through with the food. But yeah, so I just finished like filming my own self-directed project. It's kind of like, it's difficult to explain. It's like a multimedia film, so it's got like different parts like VR and photography and then a film, and it's all about like being Muslim and growing up in a Western society and how you balance like different sides of your identity. So yeah, I was just in the process of finishing that off, starting editing. I was working with a couple of people helping me with editing, and then I think before the last week of uni, my dad got sick, and I saw you that weekend as well. And it was just
Mm.
completely random because it was out of nowhere. He just like had a normal cold, but obviously we were like wary because this COVID stuff's going on around
Yeah,
the
yeah.
world.
And at that point, though, as well, it wasn't like no officials were like taking it seriously at that point either.
No, yeah,
So it was like the people had to decide if it
literally,
was serious or not. Not the professionals. I'm not talking about the NHS. I'm talking about the government.
yeah.
They hadn't put anything in place by that point as well. So we weren't in lockdown or anything at that point.
No, life is literally completely normal. So
Hmm.
yeah, he got sick and we just thought it was a cold, but obviously we were a bit worried. So we called 111 and they were like, "Yeah, just stay at home." It was like stay at home for 7 days, and like the rules weren't really established at that point as well. So it's
Yeah,
like,
no one really knew what to do, did they?
yeah. And when I look back, it doesn't make sense because they told him to stay home, but the rest of us could go in and out. So that kind of like defeats the point. But yeah, no one really knew what was going on, so that makes sense. But then yeah, we got really worried the Sunday before the last week of uni. So he got taken into hospital. And then unfortunately, 1 week later, he passed away. But everything just happened so quickly.
Mm.
And lockdown started. And we didn't know what was going on with uni. So the whole thing was just like, even now, I still haven't fully processed it because obviously lockdown's only just easing up. So like the whole free past 3 months have been like a blur for everyone. But yeah, especially like if you've lost someone, it's a very weird time to lose someone because it's
Mm.
like, yeah,
Because
a
life
lot.
is like not really going on as usual anyway, because
Hmm.
you're kind of stuck at home.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not even, you're not going out and experiencing things anyway on top of that. So it's just really weird. Like you're just stuck in that one
Hmm.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah. But I think one everyone's saying this, and it sounds a bit cheesy, but one good thing that's come out of the virus is that everyone's come together to support each
Mm.
other. Like neighbors are helping each other. Everyone's like donating money when they can and like supporting businesses. So even
Yeah.
though it wasn't like the typical kind of support when you lose someone, like going around and seeing them, bringing flowers and stuff, we had so much support from friends. Like you sent food around, our neighbors
Mm.
sent food and money, and we had help with the funeral and stuff. Yeah. It's just weird, this whole situation. And with uni, I didn't think about uni for months. I was like, no, sorry, goodbye. But yeah, I managed to finish it off. I don't think any third year can say they're like completely happy with the work or
The
how
final
it
project.
ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's so
Yeah.
weird and it's not what we planned, especially for us. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
I
but
totally get you.
yeah, we did it
Yeah.
though
We
somehow.
did it. We did do it. I mean, especially what you've been through as well. You've managed to do it, which I think sometimes we don't really let ourselves be proud of. Like, yeah, we actually did do it. Like we've been through. I don't think anyone in history has probably been through the experience. I'm not saying like our experiences compared to some major things in the world, but I don't
Yeah.
think anyone has had to try and work around this and complete a degree before. No one's actually experienced that sort of thing on a mass globe scale.
Hmm.
And the fact that we've graduated, I mean, things were put in place to help students graduate,
Yeah,
especially
for
our
sure.
uni. They made sure that um, you wouldn't get lower than your average, because obviously they know that you probably would have got at least your average on your
Hmm.
final grade anyway. But we did it. I don't know how we did it. I mean, I when I saw my result, I really didn't know how I did it. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, somehow we managed to pull it off. We had someone in our year group as well organized like a little lecturer's video message, which was really cute. And one of our lecturers said to us, we're always going to be remembered as the class of COVID because
mm,
that's what happened our year. So we're not having, is it confirmed we're definitely not having a graduation? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that like
we've missed
we
out on.
we missed out on, yeah. So it's weird. But yeah, that's what it was like. It still doesn't feel finished, uni. Yeah.
No, I said it just doesn't feel like it's finished.
Mm, yeah. So
Especially because I'm in lockdown again, so I can't go out really. Well, I
yeah, in
can. I'm just
Leicester.
outside the lockdown zone. But a lot of people I know live in the lockdown zone, so I can't go visit them and do stuff, and we can't go restaurants because everything's closed still. And oh, it's weird, man. Life just is not going on. It is,
Hmm.
but it isn't. Like it's
Yeah.
everyone has to get on with it, but it's really hard.
It must be weird for you as well, like to see the rest of the country like opening back up, but then Leicester not. Yeah.
Because I live just on the outside, so I've managed to have certain things or do certain things. But because I work in the city centre now, it's just really weird. There's signs everywhere saying essential travel only. Um, and there's certain checks on certain roads. They'll ask you, why are you here? I've not experienced that yet, but it's just weird because I mean, I think things are opening up quite quickly. And I probably, the sense, if I was in charge, I'd probably do things differently.
Hmm.
I want to be able to support businesses and stuff, but you can't really do that much. It's just weird.
Yeah. And I think it's gonna be weird moving forward as well. Like especially for us just coming out of uni, looking to work or do whatever we want to do, masters or whatever. So what do you think it's gonna be like? Like, do you have any plans and how are they gonna be affected? Like,
Um, I'm kind of in a place where I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm a bit lost, really. I
Mm.
think, especially because obviously we didn't have that opportunity to connect with people before we ended uni with through our final projects.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a theatre company called Theatre Absolute the other day and spoke, vocalize these things. And at the minute, we just got to move on until, things can open up and stuff again. And so, as I was saying, I spoke to Theatre Absolute and they basically said, put the project that you were doing to rest for now because you can't do it. So, moving forward, just work on the things you can do. And just what I'm having to do at the minute is just, when theatre groups are doing Zoom calls or, artists are doing Zoom calls, get on them so they see your face because at least that way, when things are over, they'll go, "Oh, it's you!" Da 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 da. Because my whole industry, probably similarly to yours, is it's about the people you know and who you see. The more you see that face, the more you're going to remember it and be like, "Oh, you do that." And then
Yeah.
when you do a project, they'll be like, "I know that person that does this." And that's how it works a lot of the time in our creative industries. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at in terms of like, what am I doing next? I mean, I've got a part-time job working in a supermarket at the minute just to get some income, and what I'm going to push myself to do is read some plays and follow artistic things, getting on Zoom calls with artists and stuff. And I think for now that is the best that I've got in terms of pushing myself and my degree forward into something. So yeah, that's where I'm at for the future. It's just trying to keep in contact with people I know and make new contacts as best as I can.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, especially with theatre. Like you said, you need to see people's face, and it's difficult not to do that in person.
Mm.
Yeah, that links a bit to something we're going to talk about in a little bit. The project Students Saving Our Theatres and how
Mhm.
students are getting involved to help all of that. But yeah, in terms of me after uni, I did want to do a master's. I hadn't like fully made my mind up, but yeah, I was interested in doing a master's in either like VR technology or further in like media masters. But the way things are with unis, I'm not really sure how it's going to work out, and I'm not sure if I can justify paying £10,000 for like Zoom lectures. So
Yeah.
I might, yeah, I'm thinking of taking a year out, doing some work, getting some experience in the media industry, which again is going to be very difficult because of the way things are right now. So yeah, but I'm going to look for online opportunities, just getting to know people online, networking, seeing what we can do like this over Zoom and stuff, and yeah, see what happens afterwards. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tricky one. No one knows what's going to happen in the future, so we'll have to see. But yeah.
Mm. It's tricky, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's very difficult. I feel like we got thrown into an abyss that no one knows how to get out of, and we're
Mm,
just expected to somehow carry on,
yeah.
which I find very difficult.
But looking back, what would you say you learned from your overall uni experience?
I think I learned that I there's a lot I can achieve. Um, I have worked through a lot of personal issues through uni and somehow still managed to come out with a grade that I'm very proud of. I also think, I've learned who's my circle, who's my tribe, who I can work with, who I trust. Um, and I've kind of worked out like what kind of styles and directions I want to go in terms of, theatre, acting, directing. So, I've started to establish who I am a little bit more. I think that's what I've learned from uni. It was my own time away from home to develop who I thought I was, and whether that be myself or creatively. So I think that's what I've taken away from it. I don't know what your kind of view on it is. I don't know if it's different because you live at home mostly or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd say in a way kind of similar. Like you learn who you are as a creative person. Like you really like explore that and find yourself. Like as cheesy as it is, you
Mm,
do a little bit, yeah, you find yourself. But yeah, I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about other people as well. I think you
mm,
meet so many new people, so that's really important. But yeah, I think I am glad I went to uni. I think if I look back and had the choice, I would do it again, even though it wasn't like a smooth journey.
mm.
Like there were ups and downs, but yeah, I think it was really worth it, and I'm ready now to tackle
Move
the road
forward.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Hopefully things start to go back to normal. Hopefully they'll find a vaccine. Things will start to go a little bit back to normal so we can
yeah,
hopefully start to move forward. But, it's going to be a tricky one. But, if we've managed to do uni, then hopefully we'll be able to find a way through all of this mess at the minute.
yeah. We'll be alright, I'm sure. But yeah, I guess that concludes our first episode. So yeah.
And our uni experience. We're just going to take a couple of minutes to discuss something that links to today's episode. And obviously, this directly links to me and indirectly to Aisha in a way. And, with the current climate and what's happening, a lot of businesses are closing, having to get a lot of people made redundant because, they can't afford to keep all these people on. And theatres have been really majorly impacted. We have recently just seen the government have put in...
Sorry, my light went out. Continue.
We've seen, obviously, the government has put in a lot of money. I think it was 1.5 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it's come a little too late for some people and some theatre companies. As amazing as it is, I still think... I'm not expecting any more. I'm just saying that, it's not going to fix this solution long term if theatres can't open and perform. And, the National Theatre announced, one of the biggest theatres, I think, in the UK. I say that, I think that is a fact, but I'll say that and someone will be like, you do theatre, how do you not know that? That's actually the second biggest. But National Theatre, one of the most renowned theatres in the UK and in parts of the world probably, have had to come out and said 400 people will most likely have to lose their jobs. And if one of the biggest theatre companies in the UK have had to say that, then what's happening for these little theatres, these little theatre companies? How are they, going to stay open? So students have come together in Warwick to try and do their best to support theatres. So it's called Students Saving Our Theatres, and what they did is they got loads of groups from societies and different theatre degrees all to come together all over the country to take part in a 5-week programme that they've set up. And each week there's a different challenge in order to help raise awareness about students trying to save theatres in order to raise money. So things they've done is like a TikTok challenge. So they used a hashtag, and that was one demographic. Then the next week it was a fitness, and it was like trying to do so many steps a day, and that hits a different demographic. And then they did taking old clothes and transforming them into something new. And then this last week that's just passed, they've just done a language challenge. So, trying to learn a new language. Again, all these different challenges are marketed towards a different variety of people. So everyone can get involved in having a bit of fun during lockdown and as it eases, but also to raise awareness that we're trying to raise money for theatres over the country, because eventually this money will be dispersed to different theatres all over the country in order to help them to stay open, to support them in any ways they need. And at the minute they're at £5,899. They're trying to reach a target of £10,000, and they've got a week left, so they're just over halfway. So I'm not 100% sure what this week's challenge is, so do forgive me, but go check out their Facebook and their Instagram. It's Students Saving Our Theatres. You'll also be able to access any details, videos. Also, they're going to do a scratch night. They've got all sorts going on, so it'd be really good to go check them out and support them, because, you know, they want to raise as much money as they can. They've already raised a phenomenal amount of money for these theatres. So if you want to help them out, then, you know, you can just go check them out. And maybe if you have some money to donate, because I know times are really tough at the minute. A lot of people have lost their jobs and whatever. But if you do have some money to spare, then please go and check them out. When we post this episode, we'll have all the links below. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it's a really great project. I think it's amazing that students like have started it as well. So yeah, definitely go check it out and support if you can. But yeah, that has been our first episode of the Wake Up Podcast. Thank you for tuning in and listening to everything we had to say, because I know we had a lot to say. But yeah, stay tuned, because we're going to have more episodes coming out. Once we get this out, we'll have a schedule and we'll be talking about loads of different things. So stay tuned here on our YouTube channel and also on our social media to find out more about that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you in the next episode.